Good Friday afternoon, East Tennessee. We've got some strong to severe storms potentially going through the area today. We have a front that's going to drop the temperatures and also drop the feels-like temperatures. So let's go ahead and get started. Thankful that you are here. We're checking a couple of things on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're on either platform, let me know. I'll do my best to magnify your voice. I can do that by even putting your name and comment on the screen if you so desire. Again, if you leave a comment, I may very well put you on the screen. If you're okay with that, let me know if that's something you would like me to do. But if you have a comment, an observation, a weather observation, I would be most interested in seeing what you've got. We've got some downpours, especially west of I-75. We have some newly issued severe thunderstorm watches in southeast Kentucky. We'll look at that a little closer here in just a moment. But as I continue to configure my screen here, I want to make sure that you're prepared for what's to come, which means some downpours and disruptions for the holiday weekend. Of course, 4th of July being yesterday, today is the 5th of July. We have obviously some downpours and some much needed rain. Some folks would say, hey, I would really love to get some rain. But if you have a comment, let me know. I'm on both Facebook and YouTube. You can clearly see we've got a lot of lightning here. Almost 3,000 lightning strikes in this box here on the right. We have a severe thunderstorm warning right on the edge of our viewing area. This is north of Barberville, and it's Barberville's there to the south of the box, but it really covers areas that take the lightning off. It's a little cluttered. You can see it's now east of Corbin and east of London and moving toward the Burning Springs area. So they've got some concerns potentially for a strong storm in this direction. Might be affecting areas. Let's see if I can pick that out a little closer. Pop up the little track here. So little towns, if you have family up in Kentucky, this storm is moving to the east-northeast at 33 miles an hour. It's about almost 9.5 miles wide, and there's a 70% chance that there's some hail occurring within this storm. So places like Hensley, Bar Creek around 1229, Oneida, Kentucky, 1229. So this is, again, kind of on the very northern fringe of our viewing area, but I do know some of us have family, have kin that are farther north into this Commonwealth of Kentucky. So I wanted to be mindful of that on this holiday weekend that you might be traveling. But the new one, the Bell County Severe Thunderstorm Watch, runs until 7 p.m. 7 p.m. So if you're on the call, let me know. I'd love to say hi to you. Leave me a comment. I'll do my best. Now, hopefully it didn't scare you away with the idea of putting your name on the screen, but I just want to give you a shout out if you've got a comment, an observation, some of the rain that's already affecting parts of East Tennessee. I do have some comments. Let's go ahead and take a look. Fred says, I believe I have Fred. Fred's here. Let's put Fred on the screen. Fred has said, nothing in Maryville yet, but very humid. No doubt, no doubt. Our friend Steven Snyder also pointing out that it's, hey, be safe. That's a good tip. TJ Black, he's up in this area. He's in Middlesboro, so very happy to have an audience there in Bell County because he's got some downpours in around Middlesboro, also known as Crater City. No, I did not make that up. Crater City, Middlesboro, home to Lee Majors, the $6 million man, which I guess in inflation would be a lot more. But anyway, I digress. Hello from Middlesboro. Thank you very much, TJ, for being on here. That always helps us. And then, of course, Frankie Wallace is pointing out that she, it's storming here in Caryville, Tennessee right now with very heavy rain. So thank you all for your comments. Let me go back to the radar. Just want to take a look at a little bit what's going on. Mention the Severe Thunderstorm Watch. That just means, to reiterate, just means that we could have some severe weather in this yellow area. This includes Harlan County as well as Lee County, Virginia, till 7 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. So this is not just the only round, but it could be a series of several rounds that move into these yellow areas into eastern Kentucky. They extend all the way up into West Virginia, from Huntington, Charleston, down toward Beckley for travel purposes. But we're going back home here because I wanted to take off the lightning and show you that while we do not, I repeat, do not have a severe thunderstorm warning in Morgan County, around Wartburg, or around Harriman or Spring City, we have some downpours. This is disruptive weather. If you've been at the pool, if you're at the lake, you have some family that's at the lake, you're a grandparent, mamaw, papaw, whatever you're doing, and you're keeping a watchful eye on the kids, keep in mind there is lightning associated. So they're going to get lightning alerts when it's within 15 miles of their location. And so that's helpful, very helpful. In fact, it can save lives when you get the warnings and when you get these alerts. Hey, time to get out of the water. Hey, time to get off the jet ski. You say, that's the last thing I want to hear. I know. On a Friday, the day after the 4th, I just got a little notification from the Captain Accurate Weather app saying storms are entering the area near Knoxville, downtown Island Home Airport. So we've got some storms that are now approaching the airport. The app does its job. It tells me, hey, we might be over here where my notification is registered, but the storms are over here. So it gives you a little bit of a heads up. It's helpful, especially if you're in a meeting, you're at work, and the last thing you're doing is looking at the radar. But it's nice to be notified. Say, hey, you know what? I got this storms in my area. I think maybe I'll check the radar. That makes good sense. Certainly, because it's all headed in this direction. And we're going to look at future radar here in a moment. But let me go ahead and put this in motion so you can see what we've missed, what you may have been experiencing over the last hour. Let's go back over the last 2 hours, because this has all kind of evolved pretty quickly over the last 120 minutes. Let's go back. See, back on 10:50, nothing, really. And then it really started to fire up in a very intensified line in red, moving through Jamestown, moving through Wartburg, and moving through Harriman, Spring City. So now the question is, how long will it take before it disrupts my outdoor picnic or my swimming pool excursion? Probably not much longer. It's going to be in the heart of the valley here within the next hour in many cases or less. My suspicion that's what we're going to continue to see. Ooh, if you got a comment, let me know. I'm checking those comments. That's what I like to do. Want to say good afternoon to you. It is a Friday. It is a holiday weekend. The last thing that yours truly wants to be doing is to be talking about the possibility of strong severe storms on a holiday weekend, because I too like to spend time with family and friends. I got a note from Mary Flannery. She says Skywarn of East Tennessee is also posting some special weather statements. Thank you, Mary. Teresa Bailey says hello from Sharps Chapel. No rain here yet. Thank you, Teresa. And I mentioned Frankie and Stephen also coming in with some comments. So very thankful for all of you that might be watching. You could be doing a lot of other things on this particular Friday afternoon, but I do appreciate your time. That's Teresa Bailey. Hello from Sharps Chapel. She's mentioning no rain yet, but give it time because it's on its way. And I mentioned Mary. Mary's also on here. She's got all caps, but they do stay in tune on the Skywarn page for those of you that are interested in staying in tune with some of the special weather statements, because oftentimes the Weather Service will push out a statement that doesn't reach the severe level, but it's concerning enough to produce maybe some strong winds, and that's what we're going to get out of this system. That's just a byproduct of what we're seeing. But 12:25 here, the time is. We'll put the stopwatch here, put the stop on the lapse, and go in a little bit tighter and see if we can find maybe what's going on in terms of velocity. And then we're going to look at the future radar here. But as far as velocity is concerned, just some estimated winds. You're looking at 48, right? That doesn't reach 60. Why do I bring up 60? 60 is the threshold that the National Weather Service uses for a severe thunderstorm. So if you've got 48, doesn't quite cut the mustard, does it? It's still 12 miles an hour less than a severe thunderstorm warning criteria. And that, since your cat and dog get under the bed probably under a 30-mile-an-hour gust, I don't know, 40. Maybe the dog, cat, are hiding in the laundry room right now. I don't know with the thunder that's coming through. But we have winds that are probably well under the 60, which would cause the Weather Service to issue special weather statements. That's what our friend Mary was referring to. But yeah, these winds are gusty, but they may not be reaching the criteria of, in fact, winds of 60. So therefore, we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning as of yet. Now, could that change later today? Sure, it could. But we can already tell from what's the thinking of the Storm Prediction Center. That's pretty easy. They're thinking the areas in yellow have a better chance for severe thunderstorms because that's where they put the watch. They did not put Knoxville proper under a watch, not yet. We are technically under. If we look at this a little more closely, I believe I have the, basically I do know that we have a, do we have a storm prediction? Yeah, we don't have the, we're under a marginal risk. That's level 1. So we have the possibility for strong to isolated severe storms today, and that's what we're basically going to be getting at this current time frame. That's what we're seeing now roll through places like Decatur. Let's go town to town. I can tell pretty clearly that we've got some downpours south of Spring City, around Hideaway Hills. We got some downpours in the Southern Valley from Fairview all the way up towards Surprise. Did you make that up? No, that's a Surprise right there. A Surprise. Surprise might be getting some downpours here in just a moment. Hopefully that doesn't surprise you. Anglers Cove, Circle M, Kingston area. Cedar Grove getting some downpours, as is Century Acres. Some of these are towns, some of these are neighborhoods, some of these are subdivisions. I understand that, but some of them are maps of where people know where they live. Now, Oliver Springs getting some heavy rain, as is the Windrock area. It's closing in. I imagine the winds have picked up here, and I imagine the winds and the rain has also made the skies a little darker. And one other thing I should note, the temperatures are also part of this story. As we pull back a second, I wanted to take a look at the temperatures, because the temperatures themselves are very telling. Let's go ahead and show you where we are now. Look at the difference. Crossville,
is 76 degrees. No, it's not. It's 90 where I am. Well, I agree, because I'm in the Knoxville area. It's 90, but it feels like it's closer to 100. You got to be kidding me. It feels like it's 10 degrees warmer now with those crazy dew points. Yes, yes, yes. You got dew points at 75. It feels like the swamp. If it's around 70, it's a bad hair day. What is it when it's 77 in Jacksboro, Morristown, Newport, and Sevierville, Madisonville? It's like off the chain is what you're thinking. Probably because that's why the feels like temperature, using the dew point as a rule, the dew point temperature is the gold standard. It makes it feel like it's maybe closer to 107 in Maryville, maybe closer to 108. And again, depending on how accurate the dew point temperature is, that could be how it feels at this time. But our friends in Crossville are the canary in the coal mine in this regard, because Crossville actually has a temperature of 76. So they're 14 degrees cooler. You go, that's not possible. How could they be 14? They just happen to be, because they've had the rain come through. So you've got, in this case, you've got, let's see if I got this telestrator here. Yep, we got 68 up even in parts of north of Cumberland County. But this is interesting because 76 here, 90 here. You got a 14-degree difference. And look at Rockwood. Rockwood has cooled even further to 73. So Oak Ridge, Hardin Valley, Farragut, your temperature is going to drop like a rock. And I'm kind of curious to see if you've got the comments. Bring them in. Lisa Matthews Rollins says a little shower in Crossville. I'm a little jealous of you, Lisa, because your temperature has dropped quite a bit from just an hour or so ago. Because I mentioned dew points there may still be a little swampy, in Cumberland County. In fact, let's go back and take a look at Cumberland County's dew point. They're at 70. Yeah, it's still pretty sticky. The shower is not going to make the humidity disappear entirely, but it may make the feels like, or the perception feel like it's only 77 versus 100. So that's it in a nutshell. Let's go back. This is very interesting to see for me as we go back to the future radar. Let's see if this is where we are now, and if you're just joining me, we've got strong severe storms coming in. We have a severe thunderstorm watch. We got the lightning strikes there under 2,900. Severe thunderstorm watch for Bell County, Harlan County, till 7 p.m. There's Harlan. There's Lee County, Virginia. They're all scheduled to expire at 7 o'clock tonight, which means this will come in, and it may not very well last into the night. What may last is the humidity and the fog, because tomorrow morning I suspect we're going to be back into the lower 70s, about 73 for low temperature. But getting back, I digress. Let's go back and take a look just real quickly at the Future Radar 2 hours. I love this product because this gives us an idea, and it's a product that's on the app. This is nothing new, but it is nice to be able to have it at your fingertips. What is new is that you can hit that little cloud button at the bottom of the app, and it will, in fact, go through the next 2 hours. Shows you where we were 2 hours ago, shows you currently, and then it shows you on the app where we're going. So let's go ahead and take a look at where we're going. These storms look like they rolled right through Hardin Valley, Solway, Oak Ridge, rolled right through Farragut within the hour to 2 hours, works its way towards Sharps Chapel and into Fountain City. If you need more evidence, take a look, because you'll notice my banner has in fact changed. Future Radar 2 hours shows you where the radar is going to be, potentially at what time. It's 12:32 now. Let's take you to 2:32. So at 2:32 this afternoon, you said, man, that's when I had X number of plans planned. It's already moved through mostly Crossville. It's already moved past Wartburg, and it's not even a concern for Cookeville, Jamestown, or Monticello around 2 o'clock or 2:30. That's what this would suggest. And you can see as I zoom in a little bit tighter, it will be centered around Sharps Chapel, Speedwell, Maynardville, and Fountain City, which it's not right now. It hadn't even really gotten into Morristown at 2:30 based on the timing, but again, timing can be off a little bit. But the trend, the radar echo trend, I think is pretty spot on, so it will be likely moving in this fashion. And you can see here there also are some showers. If I have this telestrator here, you got some showers around Newport, so you got some showers that are running well ahead of the main line. The main line's back here in the next 2 hours. But there will be some opportunities for your tomato plants and cucumbers, because I know those are so delicious this time of year. Nobody would argue with that, but they need some water, right? And you've been probably using the garden hose a lot more lately than you wanted to manually. You'd rather have Mother Nature help out, I'm sure. So back to the radar as we see it stand, and I want to get back to your comments. Hallie Gibson, she's saying it's storming
in Kingston. How do we know that? How do you know that that's what she's saying? Because I see her on my screen. In fact, you could see her too. Let's put on the ta-da. Hi, Hallie. She's got her avatar there. Hallie C. Gibson says, hey, storming in Kingston. Thanks for always keeping us updated. My pleasure. Again, not severe, but it's disruptive. And I think it's abrupt when you have a temperature that goes into the 70s like it has in Rockwood and Crossville. You're like, it's 90. Feels like 100. In Knoxville, that is true. As of 12 noon, McGee-Tyson reported a 90-degree temperature. They measured a 75-degree dew point at McGee-Tyson at noon, and that makes the feels like 100. Oh, what's 100 among friends? It's just 100. Whoa, yeah, don't overexert yourself. Make sure you pack the water bottle. But if you don't have a water bottle, Mother Nature's coming in with some reinforcements, as we can see on your screen from the Ultimate Doppler Radar, presented by your local Marco's Pizza. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention my sponsor, Marco's Pizza. Very thankful for them. If you are getting hungry here at lunchtime for something, Marcos.com, may I suggest to you Marcos.com, because one of the cool things that they have is a large pepperoni pizza and a thing we call Pizzoli. They're located in Hardin Valley, Farragut, which is about to get the rain. Maybe you want to call in and order it in. Maybe they'll deliver it for you in the pouring down rain. Just give them a big tip. Halls, Oak Ridge, Middlebrook Pike, and Ebenezer Road. The pepperoni pizza, less than $10 for a limited time. And the Pizzoli, I got to brag about the Pizzoli. My favorite is the pepperoni and sausage. And these things are way, way bigger than this picture would represent. But check them out. The Pizzoli, a great lunch item. You can grab a buffalo chicken, a chicken bacon ranch, even a pepperoni version of it is available at Marcos.com. By the way, Ultimate Doppler Radar, looking at your comments, it's 12:35. Very thankful for you. Just want to keep you safe. I urge you to download my free Captain Accurate weather app and make sure that you get the lightning alerts as it comes in. We've got another note from Teresa Gibson. Not to maybe same relation to Hallie Gibson, but this Teresa Gibson wants to know about Sneedville. One's in Kingston, one's in Hancock County. But Sneedville's going to get the same of what the rest of us are going to get here probably within the next hour or two. We're watching that for you very well, Teresa. Thank you very much. Oh, and I got a note from Fred. How many of you would agree with Fred Winchenbach? He's put out, we need rain and lawns are getting brown. Brown, I believe you are correct. I believe you are correct. It is brown, and I could even look at the drought monitor, which I'll do with my premium members here a little bit later today. But we do need this rain. We do get usual reports coming out on Thursday morning. It might have come out Wednesday morning because of the 4th of July. You know, government, post office, everybody was closed yesterday. So I'm thinking maybe it either came out Wednesday or maybe it came out this morning. Could have been a delay, but happy to have you here. Oh, and I got a note from Michael Hawk. He's on YouTube. He's my first YouTube comment that I see. He says, I'm melting. Hot, hot, hot. Yeah, I think of the Wizard of Oz, too, in these situations, Michael. So thank you, Michael Hawk, for your update as we're watching this rain come in. And he's got his little YouTube icon on the right side, so we know that he's on YouTube. Michelle says she's hearing thunder in Clinton. Are you sure about that, Michelle? I think you're right. If I overlay the lightning, we are only going to give evidence, more evidence, to the exact point that she's pointing out. So, Michelle, thank you for that. Hearing the thunder in Clinton. Of course, Clinton, if you look closely on this map, is right over here, but the thunder's to the west of you. And it's all coming in your direction. Let's just put the last 30 minutes on here. You can see where this, and take the lightning off for a second, because it doesn't keep up with all the radar returns, but it's moving into Clinton. It's really rolling into Anderson County right now. And while it's not severe, we can call it strong. We can be strong and say, hey, winds 40, 45, maybe 47, 48, like we saw a moment ago. Doesn't reach the criteria, doesn't reach the benchmark or threshold that the hurricane, thinking Burl, the National Weather Service has a threshold for a severe thunderstorm warning, and that usually consists of 60-mile-an-hour gusts, 1-inch hail, or even a possible tornado. But the good news is the only thing we're expecting out of this is potentially some damaging wind that might approach 60, might be 45 or 50 in some cases, and we didn't even look at hail. I don't see hail being a big issue today, but we're going to go ahead and take the laps off and see if we get, see how hard pressed you are fine to see the purple. Purple means possible. So if I really squint, I guess I could pull out a possible in here. That would be maybe something you could see. If I have to zoom in, yeah, it says possible. A little pink area north of Spring City. It also says maybe possible there. But all in all, hail, probably not the biggest issue for us. It's going to be potentially the stronger winds. We talk about the velocity. We're going to look at that real quickly if you're just joining me. We see some areas in the bright area 48, maybe 48 miles an hour, maybe about 30. Some areas around Harriman about 34. So again, these are not going to reach the attention of severe weather in the eyes of the Weather Service. But for you, for me, if you're at the pool, you're at the lake, this is the time to do it. And you're like, man, I wish I had known that my tarp, my picnic blanket, something could have blown away. And I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want that to surprise you, so that's why I put the velocity on here as well. Got another note from Melissa Mumpower. Let's put you on the screen, Melissa. Melissa Mumpower says, we need a long, full day of steady rain. Any chance? Maybe in the future, David. Well, anything's possible, because if the hurricane that I kind of referenced a second ago, Beryl, moves towards South Texas, it could curve around the upper level high, that we could see remnants of that storm move into either Cincinnati, Ohio, or Knoxville by next weekend. I know it's kind of a long-range conjecture, but it will get sapped into, it'll get pulled into the mainstream, the main frame of the moisture pool. So yeah, we could still see some heavier rains. I have a rainier outlook down the road. It's certainly possible. Don't want to rule it out, but we also know that the situation does go back and forth. And speaking of Beryl, someone who's in South Texas, who is in the Houston area and has East Tennessee ties, is Steven Snyder. He's also one of my premium members on Captain Accurate. Glad you're all getting rain. We're waiting on Beryl to make up her mind. Yeah, I think she will eventually. The center of circulation may squarely hit Mexico, but the rains will spread northward. So I think Houston will get some tropical rains out of it. The question is how much, how long does it stay there? I think a lot of that is yet to be determined. But Stephen, thank you for your note. Judy Kerr says hello and thank you for keeping us informed. My pleasure. That's what I'm here for. But if you are concerned about winds, you're probably under the 50 threshold. I see a lot of 45s there, right? Some of the bright green areas would represent 45. There's 39. So it's probably 45 or less. As it rolls into Clinton, as it rolls into Hardin Valley, you're probably in the 25, 30 range. It's not going to be off the chart. And if something changes, I will let you know. But I can tell you right now, the worst of the concern clearly is in the yellow shaded counties. That's up in southeast Kentucky. We looked at that earlier. We got heat advisories all over Georgia and the Carolinas. In fact, Raleigh-Durham is under the excessive heat warning that Memphis was under just a day or so ago. So this crazy heat that we have is going to quickly go away once the pitter-patter of raindrops come back into the picture. And that's what we're looking at here. Some heavier rains now moving into, let's just go from town to, it's not, finally, it's made it to Oak Ridge area. Oak Ridge is getting some downpours, especially on the west side of town. It's about to hit Hardin Valley, Solway, if it hasn't already, depending on what side of Hardin Valley you might be in. Farragut, it's to the west side of you. Cedar Bluff, not yet. Bearden, your time's coming. Powell, hello Powell. Powell's getting a little shower, but not quite as intensely as your Oak Ridge, Oliver Springs neighbors. I'm looking at Powell. We got a rain shower here. Fountain City maybe a little bit to the west. And Claxton getting some rain. But again, it's not, those are little separate cells, little showers that are out ahead of the main line. The main line extends down toward Dogwood, Cave Creek, Cedar Grove, and the Kingston area, where we heard from Hallie Gibson. She mentioned the rain herself. Dearmont, Oakdale, and Warper getting pounded with maybe wind-driven rain. I would say so. You got winds 25, 30, 35, 45. So the rain's coming, feels like vertically. Horizontal rain coming into your face, and the wipers are going like crazy if you're in the red areas. We can include Bryceville in this mess with some downpours, as well as Laurel Grove and Beech Fork. And if we move further north toward Campbell County, I don't want to leave out Duff and La Follette and Fincastle. That would be silly. Why would you not mention Fincastle, Duff, and La Follette when you're in Campbell County? They're getting downpours. Jacksboro, maybe they've had their due, because if you go back, 30 minutes, probably rolled right through Jacksboro a few minutes ago, and now it's not as intense. Jacksboro got some good rain, but now it's maybe a little lighter there, and it's more intense in red in Duff, Fincastle, and maybe La Follette. So those are some areas, and it's working its way up toward Clairfield. In fact, Clairfield's getting pounded with rain. Middlesboro, as we are still getting the rain, Powell Valley, and all the rest. So just wanted to keep you apprised of what's going on. Sharps Chapel, you're on deck. I'm looking at the towns that are not being affected at the moment. That would be Maynardville. Your turn will come. Luttrell, Beech Grove, all within probably the next 30 to 45 minutes. You're already seeing some cells that are well ahead of, I mentioned Powell, Claxon, Bull Run, Fountain City. These showers are well ahead of the main line, which is in the red areas around Hardin Valley, getting noisier, I would imagine, in parts of West Knox County. So keeping an eye on that. Got some other comments. I have Judy Kerr on my screen. Let's go ahead and take her off for a second and see if there's some other comments that you all have, because I'm happy to have you all here watching us live. Karen Robbins, got to say hello to Karen. She says, we've had several good downpours in Fairfield Glade over the last hour or so. David Aldrich Weather, glad to get our lawn watered for free. Isn't that nice? That's kind of where I was thinking, Karen. You have taken a page right out of what I was thinking earlier, because I thought cucumbers, which I love this time of year. Oh, of course, the tomatoes, if they're red and juicy, or yellow. I'm a fan of the yellow ones too. All the colors of the tomatoes, right? Even the green ones, the fried green tomatoes. Whatever tomato that you're growing, I hope that you get a little douse of water from this particular system. And if you don't have the severe weather, isn't that a good thing? Sure, it could be gusty. We're not trying to dismiss the fact that we could still get 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 gusts. But the Weather Service, some people go, why aren't they issuing a weather alert? Well, the alert came a few moments ago with the Captain Accurate weather app, because it gave me an update around the Knoxville downtown Island Home Airport. It said, hey, we got some storms in your area. Clearly, they're now moving into the area, which gave us at least a half-hour heads up, which is nice. But the heavier rains have left Crossville. So, Karen, thank you for that update. David Ferris, one of my premium members, commenting, he says, please turn off the comment box. It blops the map. Thank you. I can do that. I'll do that. But I did want to mention your comment so that I don't do it twice. I was too busy juggling the other computer, but you make a very, very good point. And as you can see, the storminess that's coming into play now will be knocking on the door in Blount County, around Maryville, Friendsville, here in just a few moments. Clearly, the heavier rains you can see here are now working their way through Lenoir City and Loudon right now. Lenoir City may not be dealing it quite like Loudon is at the moment, as I'm looking primarily at this area here. So Lenoir City's here, Loudon is here, and it's already covered in red. So we have a very heavy rain shower thunderstorm rolling through Loudon. Not severe, but could be classified as strong. And the lightning may be catching up to the returns. They do seem to be bright and white a little back to the west toward Kingston, but they will eventually fill in, and that's why I suspect you will hear thunder before you get the downpour. Even Sevierville, areas east of you, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, getting some rain. Notice how far out ahead, right over here, how far out ahead this line is from what's hitting Loudon and Oak Ridge, and really moving into the Farragut area. So this will clearly put an end to the swimming pool time if you're in West Knox County when you see the skies get as dark as they've probably gotten where you are. So keeping an eye on that. Got some other notes. Dennis Hatcher says, good afternoon from Pigeon Forge. Thanks for keeping us informed. Glad to have Dennis here. He's also one of my premium members. Very thankful to have Dennis on the comments here and on live. Let's see here. Let's go back and you can see we got pretty much what's going on. A good afternoon from Pigeon Forge. Thanks for keeping us informed. So glad to have Dennis here, and as well keeping you safe while you continue on this holiday weekend. It is a Friday, the day after the 4th. Maybe you're like me, you're still hearing fireworks this morning. I was hearing that probably around 10 o'clock this morning. So what in the world? But hey, people got firecrackers, they got snapdragons, they're doing something during the time they have off. There's no harm in that as long as they stay safe, no doubt. Keeping an eye on the radar though. Ultimate Doppler radar presented by your local Marco's Pizza. Let's show you the bigger picture. I do have a new severe thunderstorm warning to pass along. This has now been upgraded to a watch, from a watch to a warning. I'm talking about Bell County, specifically Bell County now under a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's go to the app and give you some of the details, because I do know TJ Black was watching, and he is in Middlesboro, so this might be a great interest to him. But a severe thunderstorm warning was issued at 12:45. That was 2 minutes ago. You're 2 minutes late. No. But you know what? The app, if you live in Middlesboro and you've registered Middlesboro as your town, you'll get notified with your current location, and you'll get it in real time. So the minute this was issued at 12:45, I suspect TJ Black got this notification 2 minutes ago. But I'm going to read it to you. It's Southwest Harlan. It's all of Bell County, and it's east central Knox, southwestern Leslie, and southeastern Clay County in Kentucky to 115. You can see the 115 in here. We can see if we get a track or two. Yep, got a couple of the tracks. So a couple of towns. This has, my radar is moving it at east-northeast at 24. The Weather Service believes it's moving closer to 30, 24, 30, pretty close. And it's all moving in the direction of maybe
Oaks, 1251. Tuggleville, love that name, 102. Path Fork, 105. Alva, 109, should be around Twyla. And Creech, around quarter after the hour. So 114, 115. And South Wallens at 116. So you've got severe thunderstorm now, possibility there. Now this is the area they believe could have a 60-mile-an-hour gust with penny-size hail. We have a 100% chance of hail, but only a 50% chance it's the size of a George Washington quarter. That's the 1 inch. The George Washington quarter that lies in your pocket, perhaps, is a 1 inch. So there's a 50% chance it's the size of that, but probably more likely the size of a penny. I'm going to go ahead and take this off for a second because I want to go in a little bit tighter and see if we can get some winds that would resemble a 60-mile-an-hour gust. This is the Pineville area. You can see the storm that's now moving through Balkan. That's the one we're looking at. I guess it's Cubage, heading toward Alba. This is the area that might have this damaging wind that might be closing in on, say, 60 miles an hour. But we can see if there's anything bright of that nature. Again, this is the concern. It's a severe thunderstorm. I would not say I see that just yet, but that could be something that evolves over time. Some of the winds you can see might be increasing with this particular storm, so we'll keep an eye on that for our neighbors to the north. Checking back on East Tennessee, West Knox County. If you got a comment, let me know. Diane Ladyhawk says it's horrible outside in East Maryville. Let me know, are you saying it's horrible because it's humid or saying horrible because you've got storms? I don't see much going on in East Maryville just yet, but it could very well be happening fairly soon. We may see something that changes on that front here in a moment. Again, talking about Bell County till 1:15 and Harlan County till 1:15 for a severe thunderstorm warning that is, in fact, active. I'm going to change this gear because I see a lot of folks in the Oak Ridge, Farragut area, Cedar Bluff, going, what in the world's going on? Oak Ridge, Solway, downpours. Hardin Valley, downpour. Much needed rain, by the way. If you've got tomato plants in Carnes, you may be applauding. Might be applauding this if you're in Carnes. You're going, Carnes is awesome if you get the rain, because if you're growing anything at this time, anything that might be growing, you'll be thankful to get the rain, especially after yesterday. Because remember, here's Knoxville, right, for orientation. Knoxville's on the right side. We got Bearden still on deck, Rocky Hill on deck, Bluegrass. Cedar Bluff is right on the doorstep. I'm sure it's very dark around Cedar Bluff at this hour. Powell also, having had a shower, you've got more heavier rains coming in at this particular time. But I'm just checking in, watching the comments that are coming in as they do. Mary says, yeah, nothing on the radar yet for East Maryville. I'd say the horrible might be, I'm going to interpret Diane's comment, although she can clarify it, it's just sticky. Turning on the fact that all this has just come on like all of a sudden. It's an interesting thing to watch, no doubt. But again, very thankful for those of you that have stuck with me during the last period of time that we've been on this particular Facebook Live. I'm trying to see where we are at this particular. I'm juggling multiple browsers here, so if I sound distracted, that's why. But anyway, Powell, Cedar Bluff, Knoxville, Bearden, and Rocky Hill Bluegrass are on the on-deck circle to get some of the heavy rains that we already see. We'll go ahead and take off the telestrator because that can be distracting. But we can also go further south, areas just to the west of Sweetwater and west of Nyota. We're looking around Erie and Clearwater. All that rain is working closer to I-75, so anyone traveling up and down I-75 in this direction or in this direction, you're going to be seeing the skies get very dark as this all begins to work its way in your direction. That's what you can see. It's going to be crossing I-75 from Erie, from Collins Mill, and Acme Mill, and crossing toward Nyota and Sweetwater here in the next 15, 30 minutes. This is a 30-minute loop. What we're looking at is now moved into Lenoir City, really hitting hard North Loudon, and some of the areas might be producing, in some cases, some penny-sized hail, as we saw up in projected in areas in southeast Kentucky, Middlesboro, and perhaps up toward Harlan. But again, I digress. Let me go back and choose. Let's go back up here. Again, talking about the severe thunderstorm warning till 1:15. That's less than a half hour from now. What this is going to mean for Knoxville is, again, anyone that might be hanging out on the water, if you're at Melton Hill Lake, if you're going to be on the water, if you're around soon to be, I think obviously if you're on Douglas Lake or Cherokee Lake, you've got some time. You got some time before things start to get really dark and stormy, but there is that possibility. Diane says, yes, humidity is very sticky, she says, and very hard to breathe. I would imagine that would be the case. Many of us who are not a fan of this weather
maybe prefer it colder in the wintertime, this is the converse, right? So you've got Diane saying it's very hard to breathe when you've got this sticky air, hard to breathe indeed. So Diane, thank you for that observation, because I think that a lot of folks would agree. A lot of folks would agree with what's going on. Somebody was asking me about Texas. Texas is going to be bracing for a hurricane. We're focused on East Tennessee. Question that I was getting on YouTube. We'll keep an eye on that. What can we expect? Another good question from YouTube. Stephanie Hutchinson says, what can we expect after this line moves through? It'll be unsettled. It'll be humid still, as we saw from Crossville. They cooled down, by the way, 14 degrees. We were 90. Crossville was 76. I believe Rockwood 73. So they were between 14 and 17 degrees cooler once this line moves through. So hopefully that answers your question. A big drop in temperature, not a drop in humidity. Humidity will stay high, the temperature will drop, and it's going to feel like it's like mosquito land, I guess, because we're out patches of fog tonight, as we'll find mostly cloudy skies this evening, and we may still see a stray shower or storm tomorrow being Saturday. But right now, this is the main line. This is the strong storms in East Tennessee. It's the severe storms that happen to have chosen southeast Kentucky. That's pretty much how things are going in this particular time. Mary Flannery saying, yeah, nothing on the radar yet for East Maryville. That'll change, though. Give it some time. But again, very thankful for your notes. Let me, if you're just joining me, as I get this really to the center of Knoxville, the heart of this will come in here in the next few minutes. It's already affecting Carnes. Shout out to Carnes if you're watching. Solway, Edgemore, you've got some downpours. The question is, are you getting some hail? I suspect probably not, and if it is, it may be just a very faint hint. I don't even have the purple or the pink, which would suggest possible. There might have been some possible hail between Wartburg and Dearmont, based on my radar, and maybe west of Stevens, but that was a few minutes ago. Most of the pink is either up toward areas in the box. So this might be more pronounced. Pea-size hail, penny-size hail, was articulated by the National Weather Service, and they believe that penny-size hail may be found in the severe thunderstorm warning that affects Harlan and Bell County. That runs till 1:15, so you got 20 minutes left on this one, and I don't see much change in the velocity. They thought maybe this could be about 60 mile-an-hour gusts. I don't see that on my image, but again, some of the tools the Weather Service has will vary. They might have the other intel that they were strong enough in their wording to issue this as a severe thunderstorm warning. So we're keeping an eye on that for the next half hour, or 20 minutes, maybe 19 minutes now, because this is the only severe storm we have at the moment, and it's the one that's affecting this area just to around the Pineville area. In fact, you got one here that's affecting areas around Tuggleville at 12:59, should be around Alva at 1:07, and you got a severe thunderstorm heading in the direction of Wallens Creek at 1:13. There's another one cell in this box around Pineville that might be around Pineville here. The worst of it could be east of Pineville here, but Cary at 1:10, Blanche at 1:14, and Rella, if I said that right, at 1:19, Jensen at 1:16. So they're here suggesting about a half inch, or at least a half-inch size hail would be possible out of some of these storms, because they are going to produce some instability. It's always best to get the ground truth from observation or spotters like yourself, because that's where it really helps out to get that intel. But that's a severe thunderstorm warning that we have here. Let's go back to the home view, because I know those of you who are in East Tennessee, East Knoxville, you have a little more time. It's West Knoxville that's getting pounded right now. Oak Ridge has had the worst of it. It's gone from red to yellow. Carnes, right in the center of this. This is really centered over Carnes and Farragut and Hardin Valley at the moment. Those three areas are probably hardest hit right now in the red areas. These are the reflectivity. It includes Cedar Hills, this area right in here. Bearden, you're on deck. Rocky Hill, you say, you keep saying it, but it's not here yet. Give it another few minutes, because I'm going to show you what it looks like 30 minutes ago. Look how it wasn't even in Carnes 30 minutes ago, but now it's really coming down squarely in Carnes, Farragut, Hardin Valley, and essentially Bull Run just in the last half hour, and it's going to be working its way the next half hour in places like Fountain City, Knoxville, Vestal, and Beechwood. These are the spots that are probably going to be affected most in the next 30 minutes with some disruptive weather. So it goes. Alyssa, thank you very much. She's sending me some stars. I appreciate your kindness. That helps me greatly.
Because again, the information in the technology that I'm using isn't free. I have to spend money on it to give that information to you so that you can be well protected. But the app is absolutely free, and I am thankful for the sponsors that I have that keep me on the air, as it were, online. That includes Marco's Pizza. They are the ultimate Doppler sponsor, your local Marco's Pizza. So if you're interested in something for lunch or dinner tonight, maybe you're on the going to be sitting poolside, Marcos.com. May I suggest you check them out for either a pepperoni pizza, maybe a Pizzoli, or something. They got great sandwiches too. There's so many good things at Marcos. If you haven't discovered them, at a Marcos near you. All right, so we're looking at these comments. I'm looking at some of the downpours. Let's see here. I got another note from. I got another note from Mary. Mary says about hail. She says hail in Wood Creek and Robinson Crossroads. Thank you for that update, Mary Flannery. Thank you for that update about the hail. That's also very good intel, because again, it matters what people are seeing on the ground. She's also mentioning also on Brentwood, if I saw that right. Yep, also on Brentwood, and I believe she's where Byington is as well. So we've got a couple of areas that are dealing with some small hail, but again, if you're scratching your head, going, why is the Weather Service not issuing a severe thunderstorm? Because it doesn't reach their threshold, right? They have it's not like a new definition. They've had it for decades. Their definition is 60-mile-an-hour gusts or higher, and hail the size of a 1 inch or greater, and or possible tornado. Because sometimes you don't know if there's a possible tornado. They'll issue a severe thunderstorm warning too, but that's not the case. None of that applies. We have winds that have been under 48, 45, even in some cases 25 or 30. So the winds aren't that strong to issue a severe thunderstorm. But the special weather statements that Mary Flannery mentioned a while ago, you could find on Skywarn. They do detail. Sometimes it's the penny size or pea size hail that might be a byproduct from this storm system. And it's a well-defined line, as you can see now, rolling right through West Knox County. Were we on target? Was this a disruptive storm? Was this worth cutting in on social media for? Maybe, maybe not. Some would say overkill, Aldrich. That's okay. I do see, and I only came on because I saw a bunch of counties turn yellow, like Bell County, Harlan County, Lee County, Virginia. I thought, hey, if they turned yellow, could they actually expand it into East Tennessee? So far, so good. We haven't turned yellow. We don't have a severe thunderstorm watch. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for the next 14 minutes for Harlan County and Bell County. But it's interesting to see that there is not the concern at this point from the two, and I say two, National Weather Service offices that are governing this part of the country. Talking Morristown and Jackson. Jackson, Kentucky governs eastern Kentucky. So their severe thunderstorm warnings are being coordinated with the friends at Morristown. There is always a communication between one office to the next. Of course, the next one west over would be the Nashville office. Clearly, we don't have any issues in Nashville, it would appear here. But clearly, the bigger picture, if I were to do a little zoom back out, somebody was asking about Texas. This is a big time where people are on the roads, right? And if you zoom back out, there's nothing going on in Nashville. There's really nothing going on in Memphis. It's all focused here because this is where the front is located. This is where the cold front is, and it's trying to push through. When I say cold front in quotation marks, it may cool the temperatures down a little bit, but it's also like a wind shift line. It's pushing the winds maybe southwest now, more of a northwesterly wind this afternoon, and with the fog potential tomorrow morning where it rains, it pours. We've got heat advisories in around Houston, Texas area. Most of Florida is dealing with heat, and you say, well, they deal with heat all the time. It's hot for them, right? When there's an excessive heat warning in Wake County, that's Raleigh, Wake County, North Carolina, yeah, it's a big deal. So this is where it feels like temperature could be like 105 or higher oftentimes, and that's not what many people are used to. Not even in Florida, where the heat advisory, I'm sure, might be closing in on 100 or higher. So dealing with that, you can always check the details of that on the Captain Accurate Weather app by clicking on the location that is of interest to you. But we're focused on the main town, which is Knoxville and East Tennessee. Clearly with about 13 more minutes for the severe thunderstorm warning that's moving now into Harlan County. Harlan County and Bell County under the severe thunderstorm warning till 1:15. That's probably when, as far as I'll go today, assuming, knock on wood, there's nothing issued for Knox County. And so far there hasn't been the need, simply because what we can tell, as far as I can tell, we're not reaching severe limits at this point. And we can take a little pixel query here, 37, that's strong. There's been maybe a 38 gust around Jamestown, but it's not 60.
Yeah, you're hard-pressed to find anything that is of that consequence. Now, it's not like it's a calm day at the beach or a calm day on the lake. The winds have stirred. That's to be expected. The showers and storms come in with a little bit of bravado, but it's not going to reach a headline that's going to maybe cause you to stop everything of what you're doing. It's not like it's severe, but it is disruptive. That's why I said strong to severe possible. And if you're in Morristown, Newport, you're probably like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've had nothing in Morristown. I've had nothing in Newport, perhaps. I'm just thinking outside the box because I got people watching from all different sides of Knox County. Some of you are in Knox County, but many of you are not. And I get it. Looks like Claiborne County. Let's go town to town. You can see if we put in the lightning, we're now over 3,000. This was like 2,800, 2,900 when I started. Now, he says, it's over 3,300. So the lightning has increased. So we're getting more in the way of lightning. You're getting more in the way of downpours that are now affecting more populated areas in East Tennessee, and that's key. Now, I've been on for about 47 minutes, about roughly that, almost not quite an hour. But we can clearly see the lightning has increased now, leaving the area around Clinton and pushing into northern Knox County. So these are the areas I want you to be prepared that if you've got family, if you're watching and keeping an eye on grandkids or kids, you're a mom, you're a dad, and you're concerned about your kids out on the lake, you need to telephone them, send them a text. We got storms coming in, y'all. Maybe a good time to get off the water. Probably be a good thing to do. Better to be safe than sorry. Tomato plants score a victory, but those on the boat and jet ski get like a pullback. It's like thumbs down on the jet ski when these storms are rolling through. Tanya says, raining hard in North Knoxville city limits. Thank you so much for that note. I'm going to put that note on the screen, and I'll keep it mindful because my friend David indicated that some of these, again, were left on there when I wasn't paying too long. I left it up too long. But this is from Tanya. She says, raining hard in North Knoxville city limits. Thank you for that update. Keeping an eye on some other notes. Judy, who is actually in Granger County, she says she only has light winds and the clouds are increasing. So she's beginning to see the early signs of it moving in her direction. Clearly, far and away, the downpours are now in the West Knox County area. So let's go town to town. As I love recognizing your comments, they do mean a lot, and it makes it a little more interesting, more fun as far as presenting this for those who know that there are others who are dealing with the same type of weather phenomenon. At Clinton, heavier rains have now moved away. Bryceville looking better. Disney not so bad. Beach Fork, maybe some moderate rain in yellow. But let's focus on high school because that's the area that's getting pounded, as is Powell, Bull Run, Ridgedale, Fair Oaks. Carnes is still getting some very heavy rain. I'm kind of curious, I'm sure some of you might be, how much rain do you think that some of these communities have had in the last 6 hours? Well, let's pull back. Oh my, I see some really bright green areas. That would suggest quite a bit. Some areas in Morgan County, 1.84. Are you kidding me? My tomato plants would love 1.84 inches of rain. Well, not everybody gets it. It's one of those things where maybe 0.64. West Knox County, around Hardin Valley, a little more than a half inch. What about Kingston? 1.63. There's a big difference. Come on, Aldrich, pick one. I can't. I'm not that clairvoyant. I don't know if you're going to get 1.63 or if you're going to get 0.64. This is just a Doppler estimate, right? Where some of the dark green areas are 1.1 Some areas east of Crossville have picked up, or south of Crossville, have picked up nearly an inch. And some areas around Jamestown, almost 0.85 there. So these are just, again, Doppler estimates on the rain. 1.42 in Campbell County, 1.2. Oneida, about an inch. So you have, if you're in Kodak, Morristown, Sevierville, you have the potential to get a half inch to an inch and a half to 2. That's what this would tell me. If this is the past, what it's done, think about what it could do in the near future. These areas might also pick up a half inch to an inch and a half, inch and a third, or inch and a quarter in the next 30, 60 minutes. It's reasonable to expect. So if you're kind of like, what is all the hubbubaloo about? Well, some of you are thrilled, but if some of you are like upset because this is your time off, you like to be at the beach, you like to be at not the beach, but to be at the on the water, on the lake, by the neighborhood pool. But then you have this. Oh man, it's like, what am I going to do? What can you do when you've got all this downpour activity? But it's coming through. Marilyn Bell says, I hope we get a good soaking rain. We need this, she says. I think she speaks for a lot of folks who have garden interests. Garden interests are certainly on the minds of many. as the cucumbers, tomato plants, eggplant. I don't know what all do you, green peppers. I used to love the green peppers that my grandparents grew, along with watermelon. They grew tomatoes, yellow and red, cucumbers, all the rest. But I hope we get a good soaking rain. We need this. And it looks like here, Knoxville says it's looking at power outages. So let's take a look. That's another comment that I'm getting from Mary. We can check the power outages and see if that's changed at all here in the last few minutes. But these are the downpours I mentioned. Loudoun's been hit hard. Lenoir City has had quite a bit of rain. And you can see evidence of this just in the last 30 minutes. Let's rewind the tape. Look at Lenoir City, right? Just in the last 30 minutes, it went from bad to a little better. Loudoun, same situation. It went from bad to a little bit better in Loudoun. It's gotten really from bad to maybe a much better for Harriman, Oakdale, and Kingston, Rockwood in the last 30 minutes. It's improving, but maybe ever so slowly. By the way, it's after 1 o'clock. We have new temperatures, and we also have power outages. So let's start off with the power outages. I think that'd be a good thing to look at first. And we're going to look at the county totals. So we have right now, what's being shown anyway, at this particular time, is Morgan County's got 700 outages, Cumberland County about 100. And this will continue to grow. There may be more power outages in Kentucky here in a little bit, but that's what at least I'm seeing at this particular moment. I'm going to go back and take a look at the temperatures. I believe that feels like temperatures are going to be a lot different now at 1 o'clock. Yeah, it's 74 degrees currently in Crossville. It's 73 in Rockwood, but 91 in Knoxville. That was my expected high today. But how on earth can you say that Oak Ridge is 76 and yet Knoxville, McGee-Tyson's 91? That's the point. The rain has moved into Oak Ridge. So you've got 76 here and you've got 91 here. So what do we look at? 15 degrees? 15-degree difference. That's what's going to happen when these storms come. They have the potential to drop your temperature 10 to 15 degrees. Maryville's going to cool rapidly. Sevierville and Morristown will cool rapidly for the rest of the afternoon. So I guess you could like put a pin in it and watch the balloon go. Except pull the plug. We're not going to be any hotter this afternoon once these storms come through. Athens is showing a 95. That's McMinn County. Those are airport temperatures. So that's, and it feels like, you ready for this? The feels like temperature is kind of crazy because the dew points are still very swampy. Even in the wake of the cooler air, Crossville's got a dew point of 72. And the feels like temperature in Knoxville at 91 still feels like 100. Well, it feels like 75 in Oak Ridge. So how on earth can you get triple-digit feels like and 70s all on the same map? The answer, storms. We've got storms rolling through the area. In fact, it feels like it's in the 60s. Middlesboro and Oneida. Pretty amazing stuff. If you think about it, how much things have changed here in the last 35 to 45 minutes or so. But going back to the radar, because that's what's most interesting as we're dealing with quite a bit of rain. We still have another 4 minutes left on the severe thunderstorm warning, probably about as far as I'll go because I want to get it through Knox County, Knoxville, and you can keep track of it on the app. But as far as the severity, that's really what was pressing on my mind to jump in. And I've been on here for about almost an hour now, I believe less than an hour, in terms of outlining what was moving through. Because these things, again, moved up a little faster than they did 3 or 4 days ago. It looked like it was going to be an evening event. And most of it now has come in the middle, early part of the afternoon. Yeah, I've been on 55 minutes. So that's a long time for some storms that are going to be fading here in the next 4 minutes, likely in the severity. But they could grow. This could go toward Big Stone Gap. It could move into other parts of our region, but just really outside of our viewing area. Barberville's seeing some improvement from storminess. It's now moved to your east. Jellicoe, also some improved areas. But when you look at Knox County, Fountain City, Powell, around high school, and then it's really going to be moving into Corrigan here in the next few minutes. I'd say within the next 30 minutes. Lonsdale area. We can move into Knoxville proper. Mechanicsville showing probably some dark skies while it's raining hard along Western Avenue, west of West Haven, Pleasant Ridge, Cherokee Ridge. Downpours are affecting these areas pretty steadily now at this particular time. I mentioned the severe thunderstorm warning. Turn that off. But Knoxville proper is not affected just yet, but it's about to get very noisy with the rain, I'm sure, in Knoxville soon. Got some power flashes by Fulton High School. Thank you, Mary. Jacob Hatfield. I got a note from Jacob. I'm going to put him on the screen real quick. Thank you, Jacob, for being on here. He's pointing out that he has lots of rain in New Tazewell. And New Tazewell, of course, we know is in Claiborne County. They have probably a similar outlook up here that we have up towards, say,
Knox County. So New Tazewell at Powell Valley. There we've got Arthur and Harrogate, Speedwell. These areas are all getting hit pretty hard. And Tazewell on the west side, there's Tazewell. I'm looking to try to find out. There's Tazewell here. You're going to be getting some heavy rain around Little Barron, Big Barron. Arthur's getting some heavy rains, as is the Powell Valley and Speedwell. I think we can clearly see it's all rolling into town in short order. So again, on the west side for sure. And now we've got heavier rains approaching Madisonville. It's already moving into Blount County. I'm looking at Maryville, the McGee-Tyson Airport. Haven't had a whole lot of rain lately, but it's raining hard in Friendsville, where I know David Ferris might be watching. He's got an update, I'm sure, where the rain has come down very hard in Friendsville, Farragut, Foxfire, and now moving closer to Maryville, Alcoa. You're next on deck in terms of the heavier rains. It's going to be moving. Again, 30 minutes. Was it in Friendsville 30 minutes ago? The answer was no. But it's shown up here in the last 10 minutes. It's coming down pretty hard on 321 around Friendsville, stretching up to Carnes and stretching across Garland, Ebenezer. Disruptive rains. That's all this is on a holiday weekend when you think, man, I wish it wasn't so bad. And tomorrow I only expect a few stray showers on Saturday. So really this is the rainiest period of time. Sunday is going to be hazy, hot, and humid around 92. So you got all Sunday to be out on the water if that's what you're so inclined to do. Play some cornhole. Do whatever you're going to do, but you're going to have to watch out at least for this rain maker to come through and move through before things get maybe a little bit cooler. I got a note from Carrie. I also left my note on here a little too long. Carrie has mentioned, is there going to be any hail associated with this? It's possible. We saw some reports from Mary that there was some hail about the size maybe of a pea or penny. Not all of it's showing up, but Carrie is mentioning there could be some hail in some areas. So we're watching this, and it's now 1:15. I believe the severe thunderstorm warning has officially ended, but the rain and thunder still coming down in buckets in the city. And yes, the severe thunderstorm warning has officially ended. We can go back 15 minutes ago, around 1 o'clock, and they did allow this to expire. So if you're looking at what I'm looking at this little area in here, this little box. The polygon, as it were, just disappeared as scheduled at 1:15. Whether it had 60-mile-an-hour gusts or not remains to be seen. I did not see that as clearly as they may have seen on their system or on their data, but they did have reason to issue that severe thunderstorm warning, so I'm not going to dispute that. I think there's certainly a rain maker coming through that area and really moving through the heart of Claiborne County at this point, right from Middlesboro down toward Maynardville Union. This is one line here that extends all the way down toward Friendsville, where David Ferris is. So we've got some heavier rains right through the city, now affecting areas from Friendsville all the way up to Choteau Hills, up toward Rocky Hill and Bearden. Remember I said Bearden and Rocky Hill, you were on deck? It hasn't been 30 minutes, maybe 20 for you, but it's now in Amherst. It's in Lonsdale. It's in Mechanicsville. And it's about to affect Gay Street and Market Square if it hasn't already. It's already over in Skip. When I say it, the heavier rains, the disruptive rains, the gusty winds of 25, 30, 35, or 40 miles an hour. And we can clearly see the winds here are not off the chart. They're not enough to cause necessarily a severe thunderstorm warning at this time. There's 49. That's respectable. But it's not 60. There's 29. There's 25. So there's a possibility that these winds are part of the story for you, but it's not enough for right now for the Weather Service to issue another severe thunderstorm warning. Could that change in 10 minutes from now or 2 minutes from now? Yes, it could. We'll keep an eye on it because we are technically under a marginal 1 isolated severe thunderstorm risk from the Storm Prediction Center. They have placed us under that concern for today. So some of these storms, again, are strong. Some of them are severe. The only 2 severe storms we had, which really one, was Bell County and Harlan County, and that expired at 1:15 just a few minutes ago. But clearly we've got some downpours that are moving from Etowah and also back toward Nyota, Athens, Sweetwater, Madisonville, Acme Mill, and Philadelphia, and so it goes. So we're keeping an eye on that. Greenback and Von Orr are also in the on-deck circle. I don't want to leave you out because you are about to get some disruptive weather, and a lot of folks love to be on the water around Von Orr. It's a beautiful town. I did a spotlight on that city, that town, as I did 39 other towns. In fact, I've had a voting poll still going on. If you'd like to vote for your favorite spotlight, I have a lot planned for the town that wins, the town that gets recognized the most, because I did over a year and a half's worth of time some spotlights, and Von Orr was one of the prettier towns that I had not known about as much as I had known others. I knew about Lenoir City. I knew about so many, but Von Orr was one. When I first went there, I had not seen as much of it as I had on that one day. So there's a lot of beauty in East Tennessee, not to just give recognition to one town, but all the small towns that are in the area have a lot of beauty, no doubt. Right now we're dealing with a lot of heavier rains in town. Fountain City, Black Oak, North Knoxville. We had a note a moment ago from North Knoxville. Pauline Kindred says it's getting dark here in Alcoa, East Maryville. I hope it pours. She says, thank you, Jesus. She's very excited to get the rain. I think some of us are very excited to get the rain. Many of us are excited, in fact, that we get some ability to get these plants and lawn watered. It'd be nice to get that on and taken care of, because we've been doing it with the garden hose. Having Mother Nature help out is always a blessing. But North Knoxville getting pounded with heavy rain. It is disruptive now in Mechanicsville, in downtown Knoxville, as it's beginning to catch up. It's already over Marble City, it's over Westview, it's over Lonsdale, and it's over Pleasant Hills. That's where we have some of the heavy rains at this particular time. Judy Kerr saying, be safe. Thank you so much. And Mary Flannery says she can hear trees breaking. That's not good. That is not good at all. We already looked at the winds. We know that they could be closing in on 49 miles an hour, and it wouldn't take that strength of a wind. Should say that is strong enough to take out power. There's no doubt about that. That's why I said take these things seriously long enough to let them pass, because like I said, there's a lot more improvement now. If you live in Crossville, if you live in Wartburg, Harriman, this is where the storminess was when I started about an hour ago. This is the area in here. Spring City could be included. This is where the area was when I started. Now it's over here. And it took about 30 minutes to an hour to progress here. It's going to take another 30 minutes to an hour really to affect areas here. So I'm not going to stay on that long, but I do want you to know that what they've had in Crossville, Wartburg, and Jamestown, anywhere from a half-inch to an inch and a half of rain, is also going to likely affect us here and affect us here. So we've got three areas, the area that was, the area that is, and the area that's going to be hit by heavier rains today, disruptive thunder, and yes, some thunderstorms. We could throw that in there. Let's go back to the home view. It was about 33, yeah, 35. The lightning just keeps growing because it's moving into humid air, and when it's humid, when it rains, it pours. If you've had heat indices of 100 plus, which we saw many areas were when I started, even at 1 o'clock, we still have heat indices of well over triple digits. It's going to only fuel some of these storms. So they could ramp up. They could get stronger by the time they get to the foothills, add toward Gatlinburg and Newport. So be mindful that these things, this is an ever-changing situation. We'll keep a watchful eye on this. I'll keep a watchful eye on this, but I don't want you to lose the bulk of today. If you're in the Wartburg area, Crossville, carry on. If you're in Jamestown, Cookeville, Sparta, carry on. There could be another shower that remains or reappears, but the bulk of this is moving in one direction right now, and you can see over the last hour, I'm going to do an hour loop, you can see where it's been in the last hour. And I think it'd be a good thing to check the power outages before I sign off one more time. Also want to take a look at the future radar, which I'll show you 2 hours in advance, so you kind of know where it's be or where it will be in connection to, say, Morristown or Newport, Gatlinburg in the next 2 hours. But this is where it's been 1 hour ago. 1 hour ago is around Harriman, Wartburg. An hour later, it's in downtown Knoxville. That's where things are at the moment. Checking in with you real quick. Let's go back to the power outages. We saw that there were a few. Yep, it's in Grove. And this is in keeping with our friend Mary Flannery with Skywarn, as she mentioned. Yeah, she's hearing trees breaking. We have 100 people without power. It may not sound like a lot, but that could grow. 100 in Campbell County, 700 Morgan County, 200 now in Cumberland County, 400 around the Decatur area, and in North Carolina they've got about 100. So this, again, power outages could occur. It's always helpful to have a battery charger. Make sure your phone is charged. We still have at this time, as you turn this off for a second, we still have severe thunderstorm watches until 7 o'clock for Bell County, Harlan County. That's 7 o'clock tonight. So we're watching that as well. And I'm going to go back, if I can, I'll go back and take a look at the future radar, because this is where we are right now. Get a good look at where we are now. This is where we're going to be 2 hours from now. Ready? Let's take you to notice my banner change. Heavy rains go back to Maryville. Wow. That's in the next hour to an hour and a half, 2 hours. So Madisonville, heavy rain is going to blow up in Blount County. Blount County, it looks like some heavier rains move into the Maryville area. What time is it? This is like 3:23 because it's 1:23 now, hence 2 hours. Now, the timing might be off of 15 minutes. That's not unheard of, but the trend is usually very good or spot on. And this product, Future Radar, is also on the free Captain Accurate weather app. I can't underscore that enough. You have at your fingertips, not only get Pete Michaels traffic, but you get the Future Radar where you can track these storms to where you are and where it's most important. It's most important where you are so you can be informed and can take the necessary precautions. But if it's around Tallahassee, Maryville, Alcoa, Rockford, this is 2 hours from now, hour and a half, 2 hours from now. You're in the Blockhouse, Wildwood area, Seymour, East Maryville. Fred, I'm talking to you. Diane, Ladyhawk, and Friendsville area are going to get hit maybe with more rain as it comes in. And then up toward Jefferson City, Morristown, it could be on your doorstep within the next hour and a half to 2 hours. It looks like Jeff City, Morristown by 3:15, if not 3 o'clock. Again, Sneedville continues up towards Sneedville, Hancock County. So all of these areas, again, this is model driven based on the radar trends we have right now. This is where it is now. This is where it's expected to be. So it's all going to be moving in this direction over the next hour, hour and a half. So that's not likely to change here in the next few minutes. So I just wanted to cover all the bases so that we know that Maryville, if that plays out, everything you see here around Etowah and Madisonville is going to be moving to Maryville, right? It's going to be moving in this direction and should start to blow up or maybe expand the view. That's what we can anticipate as I prepare to sign off and say good afternoon to you. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. Mary's talking about the wind literally tried sucking my curtains out of the window as I had the top part of the window down, and that's what the wind was like. That's never good. That's also kind of frightening, no doubt. But she says power is trying to go out. Mary, I hope that you will stay safe through this this little storm system, because it's going through for sure. And I got one other note here as I sign off. I want to say a special thanks to my friend Steven, who's watching from Texas. He's saying the Captain Accurate weather app is amazing. It is amazing. Glad to have it on my phone. I hope that you have it downloaded on your phone or your app. It works also on your iPad. Your iPad might have some great success with it as well. Thankful for you. Enjoy your Friday. Keep in mind the rain is not over, and just because I'm signing off doesn't mean the weather's over. It just means it's always changing, and it's working its way to the east. So be prepared for that. We'll see you here next time. I will keep you posted on Facebook with some still images, and as needed, we'll cut back in as if it is necessary. But take care. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Take care.